Hello everyone, it's me, the famous, your boy, the one and only, Daddy Longlegs, and the video last night was just as disappointing as I feared. It was so cringy. I can't explain how cringy it was. It was so bad. I can't explain. Bad jokes. Actually, that was the only thing wrong with it. Bad jokes. That was it. Bad jokes. Only thing wrong with it. Never mind. Great video. Great video. Great editing. I promised. Something else. Didn't get 10 million followers, and I said there would be some serious consequences, and swear those will be coming up soon. You just wait and see. Now, I said in my description, I'm sure nobody read that. I don't give a crap. And go do your own thing. But talk about we're doing movie stuff, right? Well, I gotta keep my word, right? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Today we're going to be talking about, guilty pleasures. Everybody has one. Everybody's had a guilty pleasure before. We all know one. Whether that's something you do, you say, or in this case, something you watch. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I have all my notes here for all these movies. This is going to be my top 5 guilty pleasure movies because, boy, these movies can be pretty bad. So I'm just going to start this off then. Alright, I'll see you there. Okay, so number 5. We're going to be counting down all the way to number 1. So number 5. Okay, let's grab this. We have the Batman television series. What a great freaking television series. It is. To say this is a bad TV show would be kind of mean. It'd be kind of mean to say, because this is really a great TV show. But everybody spends their time making fun of it because it is super cheesy, which it is, without a doubt. It is like the most cheesy TV show I've ever seen. Believe me, I've watched it many times with my brother. It is extremely cheesy. Really, really awful intro. It's amazing. It's just a magical TV show. And, people are always making fun of it. And so that's, and it being cheesy isn't the only thing though. So another thing is that, so every villain TV show, that's Joker, Penguin, Riddler, every Batman villain you can think of. So every one of them. Now, if you watch a show, you'll probably know this. Every villain has 2 things that they need to be the perfect Batman villain in this TV show. That would be henchman and a girlfriend. Every villain on this show has a henchman and a girlfriend. Every single one. They all have this secret lair, this secret base, and they all have some woman with them all the time, and then they have their little henchmen that go fight Batman for them because they're all cowards. That's this TV show 100%. But honestly, that's why it's great. That's part of the reason it's such a great TV show. I can't ever get enough of the show. I can watch the show any day and be 100% satisfied with what I'm watching. It's just so funny. It's so bad. I love it. It's just the best thing I've ever seen. That's the Bama TV show series for it. And also, there's only 3 seasons in the show, but every season has like ridiculously long episodes. There's like 40 something, 48 maybe plus episodes in each season. There's 3 of them, only 3 of them, and I have all 3, which I'm proud of. It doesn't belong to me, but we're proud owners of them. But yeah, that's the Batman TV show. Moving on to number 2. Okay, number 2 we have Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. This is, I would say, the worst movie I've ever seen, but it isn't, because there's worse movies than this. But I used to love this movie. I was a fanboy for these movies when I was little, when I was younger. But these movies suck. Maybe not every one of them, but this one in particular, Revenge of the Fallen is it's not the worst one, but it is my least favorite of them all. And it is so awful. In fact, it is so bad that Mr. Chris Stuckman gave it a hilariosity review, which is, I would say that's like lowest of the low, but it's kind of a good thing, honestly. It's better than it just getting an F. I mean, It's awful. It's a really awful movie. It's just got like the worst plot you've ever seen. That you like go to Egypt. There's some like big thing in the pyramids, and then the Matrix leadership is some spiky thing that's used to bring people back to life, and then you have the really bad script. I mean, and bad jokes. Oh gosh, the jokes are awful as well. Okay, like there's this whole sequence where Devastator's, big robot, whatever. If you're a nerd, you'll understand all whatever I'm saying. Climbing up the pyramid, trying to get this machine out of the pyramid, and then John Turturro's character, I don't even remember his name. He comes up and he looks up and he's making jokes because apparently the Devastator robot has some some biggity balls, and it's really stupid. It is so dumb. I can't get over how dumb this is. It is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. And don't mind that's my cat trying to get on my desk. So screw you, cat. Nobody likes you. So okay, this movie is just the worst thing I've ever seen. In fact, I would almost say it's just objectively bad, but it's really kind of funny. It is really just funny, and not to mention you can't. Well, listen, this is a Michael Bay film, so of course you're not going to be able to tell what's going on. It took me years to try to figure out why people hated these movies so much, and I finally understand. I finally understand. I've watched enough videos on it to finally understand why people hate these movies, and it's like I finally get it. It's wow. What an awful movie. Moving on to number 3. Okay, moving on to number 3, we have Pixels, starring Adam Sandler, some other girl, Olaf, another other girl, Pac-Man, and every other retro gaming character you can ever think of. This movie, the first time I saw it, I thought it was amazing. I laughed my head off. I laughed until I laughed my butt off. It was amazing. It was really amazing. And as I watch this movie, I can't help but just really like it. And sometimes I can't tell why people don't like it, but people really don't like this movie. And I can see why. The movie is kind of pointless and dumb, but at the same time, that's the point of the movie. It's not supposed to be some epic adventure from beginning to end. It's supposed to be stupid. That's what comedies are. They're kind of supposed to be stupid. Well, you could argue against that, but that's my point for this movie. But I mean, also another thing. This is Adam Sandler. Now, I'm a big fan of Adam Sandler. I love all his movies: Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Jack and Jill. Like I love his movies. They're all they're not all great, but they're all good in their own specific ways. And I love these movies. But this movie is it's kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. It gets pretty wacky. But overall, I really like this movie. So okay, moving on to number 4. Okay, number 4 we have. Wait for it. The beautiful, the gorgeous, the unremakeable, unrebootable Ghost Rider 1 and 2. Just like, the Transformers series, I was a fanboy for these movies when I was younger as well. I did, at one point, they were the only movies I would ever pop into the good old DVD player. I couldn't get enough of these movies. I just thought they were the best thing ever made. And now, I got these from my grandma, I believe, as like a birthday gift. And I rewatched them to see what they were like now that I'm older, because I hadn't seen them in a while, and they were let's say interesting. There were some interesting movies. So first off, since this is mainly early 2000s, you can probably you could probably automatically say that these are going to be cheesy, which they were. Incredibly cheesy, and I'm mainly referring to the first one rather than the second one. The second one was cheesy, but not in the way you're thinking, probably. Also, let me just get this out there. This does have Nicolas Cage in the movie, and he is Johnny Blaze. He is the main character of this movie. So that automatically makes this a hilarious movie. Like I can't get over how hilarious Nicolas Cage is. He's just a phenomenon. Like the funny thing about Nicolas Cage is he's a good actor. Like he's a really good actor, but you can't take him seriously. You can't take him seriously. You can't take him seriously in anything. I've seen multiple movies with him in there, and every time he's either crazy or weird. I've never seen the other two. In this one, he's a little bit of both. Actually, I'd say he's more crazy. Like the whole thing about at the end of Act 1, where he finally is at night's there, and he's finally transforming into Ghost Rider or whatever. Like there's this whole big dramatic sequence of him doing that, and it's just him screaming the whole time. Like you have the special effects with him like on fire, the bones showing and everything, but like he's just screaming. He's just laughing and screaming at the same, like he's gone mad or something. Which it's supposed to be the same, but it's just it's really funny. It's something else. Also, let's talk about his girlfriend. Okay, so every superhero movie has the same trope they go through. Almost every superhero has something in common. Remember how I said the Batman villains from the TV series all had girlfriends? Well, almost every superhero nowadays, not only do they have a girlfriend, but I feel like they're always really annoying. Now there are some exceptions, but I don't care about those. We want to get into the annoying stuff, like Gwen Stacy from Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Really annoying, manipulative, awful. Same thing for Mary Jane in all three Spider-Man movies. Manipulative, angry, and downright awful. An awful human being. Just a completely awful girlfriend. I would never want to ever be around her ever. And in this movie, Roxanne, which is her name, which she works for a news station, which says it all. I mean, Roxanne sounds like she works for a news station. I mean, that's like the dumbest, most uncreative name I've ever heard. I mean, at least her name's not Karen. I mean, it could be worse. But boy, she's so annoying. I don't know why he cares so much about her in the movie. She's so annoying. Like it's so annoying. Like he left her. Let's see, when he was a teenager, but she moved on. But I guess he didn't. I mean, what? I don't know. Really weird. And then the second movie now is both better and worse than the first movie. The continuity doesn't line up perfectly with the first movie. For starters, he has a completely new bike, and it doesn't look near as cool as the first one. No Roxanne in the movie, which I'm rather happy with. I not want her in the movie again. Different, same villain, but different actor. That I always hate that when they have the same villain, same character, but different actor. Like Rhodey in Marvel, like they changed him from whatever the guy's name was to I'm forgetting his name now. Austin. What's Rhodey's name? In Marvel, the actor.
His real name?
Yeah.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Yeah, that's right. Don Cheadle. Yeah, they replaced him as Don Cheadle. That stuff bothers me, and I'm glad she's not in this movie. But the whole plot in the movie, they're chasing after this boy for some reason. He has something to do with like I don't know, some demon spawn. Literally, I don't know. It's a weird movie. I'd say it's twice as cheesy as the first movie. The special effects are really good, but it's just weird. Just a weird movie. And Nicolas Cage is twice as weird in this movie, which honestly, that's what I would expect from a Nicolas Cage movie. This movie is crazy, and it's insane. I just can't get over it. Okay, and moving on to number one. Okay, number one. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. If you go way back, I don't even think I had the videos anymore. But back when I was still doing YouTube, I made a couple different videos on this particular movie. They were bad videos, and it was a bad movie. Most disappointing movie. I won't say underwhelming, just really disappointing movie. I hate this movie, but I love it at the same time. Sometimes I just can't tell what I think about it. And that's why, for my number one pick, I choose the famous, no, the infamous, the one and only, the gorgeous, the beautiful, the hateful, the awful, Transformers, The Last Knight. This movie came out in 2017. See, I don't know, I was still in 4th grade at the time, and I remember when the first teaser dropped for this movie, since I'm a fanboy for these movies, I exploded with excitement. I watched the trailer over and over and over again, and then when the TV spot came out for the Super Bowl that year, I watched it over and over again because I was obsessed. I could not push down my excitement for this movie. I watched all kinds of videos on it, theories, everything. I watched everything from this movie. I kept up with every bit of news I could. And then that summer, I believe it was June. It was June, around the 24th, I think, around that time maybe. It came out, and I was so excited. I couldn't wait to see this movie. And then my dad took me, and we went to the drive-in theater somewhere. Don't even remember where that was. And we watched the movie. I would leave it off there, but I can't do that. This is probably the worst movie I have ever seen. And I mean that. This movie is so awful. I can't get over it. And I'm a fanboy for these movies. I grew up watching these movies all the time. I praise these movies like they were the best things ever. And this movie, even then, I thought was so bad. It was that awful. Okay, I want to talk about the editing first. The editing is awful. The shots all look like they come from a commercial, as any Michael Bay movie would. It's awful. It's disgusting. The CGI is worse than the last one, and then that one's CGI is worse than the one before, and that one is worse than the one before that, and then that one is worse than the first one. The first one has the best special effects, I'd argue. This movie was awful. There's one scene that at the first time I watched it, I didn't notice it, but after I believe the 3rd or the 4th time I watched the movie, I noticed it. It clicked in my head. I saw it. And I had to pause it. I had to go back like 3 different times just to make sure I wasn't seeing things. There's a scene, if you've seen the movie, you remember this, probably. There's a scene where they're working on Bumblebee's voice box, trying to get it fixed. And we have Mark Wahlberg's character and some other person, I don't remember his character. And they're working on his voice box, and there's like 3 different shots of what should have been Bumblebee's body, but the only thing that was there was Bumblebee's head. There wasn't a body. Heck, I don't even think there was like an inside of the head. It was just a prop. It wasn't like a green screen prop, like one of those. It was just a prop, just a head. That's all that was there. I couldn't believe that. That had to be the first time I ever seen something so bad in a movie. That I was blown away. I couldn't believe that they let this slip into the movie. And okay, let's talk about this too. Nothing in this movie makes sense. And okay, most of the things in this series don't make sense at all. As far as writing, plot, script, nothing really makes sense. But this is, if you've seen these movies, I think we could all agree that this is easily the most bloated one out of all of them. There's like at least 30 different storylines crammed into this movie. You know, Optimus Prime is evil. Earth is Unicron, which I want to talk about that in a little bit. Cybertron is coming to Earth. There's the creators, that whole thing. There's something to do with the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, Transformers being there from like since the Dark Ages. There's the story about Kate Yeager and the Autobots hiding out, running from the government, all that bullcrap. It's so bloated. It's like a. See, my brother came up with this analogy when I still didn't understand why these movies were so awful. He gave this analogy of a burrito. See, like the first movie was a nice burrito, nicely wrapped, just a little meat and cheese in there. Then each movie, the burrito, they stuff a little more meat in that burrito. It gets a little fatter every movie. And by the time you get to the fifth movie, it's like you're already full of crap, but then they just keep feeding you stuff. And you just gotta let it sit there in your stomach before you basically diarrhea it all out. It's awful. It's disgusting. It's just a bad movie. And from this just being a bad movie, there's still about 2 points that really seal the deal on this one being my number one pick. So, 1 point, okay, Megatron is once again back in this movie. Again, if you follow the series, you know the movies. Well, Megatron's basically in every movie, right? Like the first one, he was the main villain. Did just fine. He died at the end. Everything was all good. But then the second one came, and then he just became a side character. Under some other stupid villain. The third one came again. Got thrown under the bus again. Was a side character. Really trashy villain. And then the fourth one came, and he's basically non-existent. Pretty much not even in the movie. The fifth one was probably the second most screen time he's. Actually, no, take that back. He still doesn't have as much screen time as he should. He does a lot more in this movie than he did in the previous one, but he still sucks. He's awful. He's trash. He's garbage. He's filthy. He's muck. It's awful. Of course, they got Frank Welker to come back and voice him again, but he did nothing in this movie. You had Quintessa, big main villain, ooh, spooky, scary. But then there's Megatron, and he just does everything she says. And if the main villain of everything that Transformers is, you're going to make him a side villain, a side character, then just don't put him in the movie. Just leave him out. But they couldn't do that. They couldn't leave him out of the stupid movie, and they had to get it done. They just couldn't leave themselves to it. They had to do it. Now, for my last point. Okay, I mentioned this just a tiny bit ago. Earth is Unicron. It's not. At first, I didn't mind this. It wasn't a very stupid idea because Transformers Prime did it at one point. They did it well, and it was good. It was cool. That's the TV show, and it was a great show. But this movie does it really, really poorly. It's just thrown in there. Oh, by the way, this whole time, Earth is this dirt planet that we all know. It's actually Unicron. It's actually this big, ancient Transformers robot that and I guess they kind of use that as an excuse to explain why the Decepticons keep coming back, and why Cybertron is coming. And it's a really lazy way to tie all these ridiculous plot points together. It's really stupid. It just makes no sense. It completely contradicts everything that happened in every other movie. In the first movie, it was the Allspark that was drawing everybody there. Then in the second movie, it was a shard, a little piece of the Allspark. In the third movie, the Decepticons just wanted to take over the world. And in the fourth movie, that they're just a bunch of drones that really didn't plan on doing much. They didn't really have a goal. Just kind of blew up things, but and then this movie, I guess I actually have a motivation, but it could have been done better. This movie is so disappointing. It's not as disappointing as the fourth one, but this movie, I just can't get over how excited I was for this movie. I completely overhyped myself. It was bad, but as I watched it more, I just embrace how stupid the movie is. Every time. This right here, this piece of garbage is secretly beautiful. If you just take a moment and just enjoy the ride from start to finish. It's awful. Sometimes it even gets a little boring. It's bloated, but that's what makes it great. It's a bunch of dumb robots, dumb characters fighting other dumb robots with dumb CGI, dumb plot points, and a big, dumb movie. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. Thank you, Michael Bay. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. Thank you for this beautiful movie. 2 hour and 30 something minute movie. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching this video. It's going to be more coming soon, more of this cringe, and I can't wait. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye now. Hey, do. Goodbye.